And moving on to more local news, a hunger strike commenced this morning demanding clean drinking water for the people of Ratapaswala.
The hunger strike commenced under the auspices of the chairman of the CNA Water Conservation Organisation, Pramitha.
Now, however, Venerable Theripaha Siridhammathera, the monk who was at the centre of the Valley area crisis, claims that a solution to the problem has been reached following discussions with authorities.
Newsfirst visited the area today to inspect the present situation of the Ratapaswala water crisis. Our cameras captured footage of empty water tanks which had been brought there as a solution for the issue.
Bouses come on and off and supply water to the water tanks in Mahara, but the supply of water to Gampa has stopped long time ago. We have no water to drink. Authorities have not provided us water even when they know we have no water to drink.
Venerable Theripaha Siridhammathera met with the Minister of Water Supply and Drainage, Dinesh Gunawardena, yesterday to discuss a solution to the problem. But what was this solution?
At last we decided that we'll provide them water at a very concessionary rate of 3,000 rupees per connection. Generally we charge about 17,000 to 25,000 per connection. Since this is a very special case, we give consideration to the affected people and we have given this facility only to the 22 Gram Seva Niladhari divisions.
Convening a media briefing this morning, Venerable Theripaha Siridhammathera too remarked on the agreements that were reached at yesterday's meeting.
Water is being supplied geographically, therefore we consider this as a victory for the people who were receiving polluted water. I assume that this may be the first time that water is being given at a lower rate to the people.
ඉතින් ඒක ඇත්තටම සාධාරණයි. ඉතින් හාමුදුරුවන්ගේ පරිශ්‍රමයෙන් තමයි ඒ දේ කරගත්තේ. ඉතින් අපි ගොඩක් සතුටු වෙනවා ඒක ගැන.
පෙරිපැතිර ධම්ම හාමුදුරුවන්ගේ ව්‍යායාමයේ සාර්ථකයි කියලා අපිට හැඟී යනවා.
ඒ තුන්දාර දෙන එක අපිට පහසුයි. කියන්නේ ඊටාම මේ සන්තෝෂයි දැන්. ඊයේ ඉඳලා සෙනඟ මේ පුදුම සන්තෝෂයකින් ඉන්නේ.
At a time when one faction is saying that a solution has been given to the drinking water issue in Ratapaswala, another faction is staging a hunger strike against it. They say that the manner in which water is being provided needs to be transparent. They also make another request, that's for a far more suitable solution for this issue.
A group of area residents joined the hunger strike that was held at the Belum Mahara junction in Gampaha. They charged that authorities are yet to take steps to resolve the Ratapaswala water crisis.
Can we pay 3,000 and get water tomorrow? Where have they laid the pipelines? They have laid pipelines on 2 or 3 roads. We will have to pay 3,000 and then wait 2 or 3 years for water. How are people to live until then? I wish to state that we will continue with this Satyagraha campaign until a competent authority come here and provides water from the bouses.
Several political leaders also visited the scene of the hunger strike.
We have been here since day one in this fight. We are here today as well. Until this concludes, we will give them our support.
The chairman of the Gampaha Pradesh Sabha, Sajid Premadasa, too visited the scene of the hunger strike.
Pramitha wants to contest the provincial council election through this. Pipelines have been laid covering 95% of the area under the purview of the Gampaha Pradesh Sabha. The Pradesh Sabha is doing the digging and the water supply board is laying the pipelines to provide water for the people.
After several hours, the hunger strike calling for clean drinking water for Ratapaswala concluded. Newsfirst inquired into the present status of the factory which was at the centre of the Ratapaswala water crisis.
Last Friday we entered the institution to inspect the dismantling of it. We saw that 2 of the 5 machinery chambers had been dismantled. The third was also been removed. They hadn't commenced work on dismantling 2 of the machinery chambers and we questioned them about it. Although they pledged to us it would all be dismantled and taken away, they have not lived up to this. However, we saw with our own eyes that the dismantling of the factory is taking place at a pace that we can be satisfied with. We will not cease our fight until all 5 machinery chambers are removed.
Now, continuing in more local news, President Maithripala has said that he is dedicated to ensuring the welfare of the people while safeguarding peace and discipline in the country.
The President made this statement at an event held in Maniangama Kegal today.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa visited the Maniangama Raja Mahaviharaya this morning and engaged in religious observances. This is the first time that a sitting president had visited the Maniangama village. The president also unveiled a replica of the relic located at Adams Peak and also inspected the ancient murals at the temple. When we introduced the Mahinda Chintaniya to the people in 2005, we created a background for the Matata Tita program. We will continue to implement this. We have clearly won many victories in this regard. It is our responsibility to protect the nation and move forward to ensure a better future. This is not a task that the government can complete alone. Parents must cooperate with us. The youth must cooperate with us. The clergy must cooperate with us and advise us. Everyone has the right to point out our shortcomings. This is because we have been appointed by you.
Now, in more local news, the International Conference on Media Self-Regulation and Ethical News Reporting is being held in Colombo. The conference has been organized by the Press Complaints Commission of Sri Lanka in view of its 10th anniversary.
The inaugural session of the conference, which is being held until the 16th of January, was held yesterday at the Lakshman Kadirgamar Institute for International and Strategic Studies.
Ultimately, a free and diverse media applying professional principles supports, promotes and strengthens democracy, nation building, social cohesion and good governance. At the core of our mission is our firm belief that only a free, independent and responsible media with access to information can play a critical role in promoting good governance, facilitating citizen participation and debate, and strengthening the government's transparency and accountability. It follows that media has an obligation to truth, accuracy, balance and redress.
At a time when Sri Lanka is attempting to rebuild links that have been destroyed or that are lost, through long years of war, the media plays a larger role in facilitating a dialogue of understanding and reconciliation. However, due to the various constraints placed on the media from outside sources or even from inside by stifling fetters put in place on itself, the public loses out on an unbiased and informed discourse that could bring about real amity between communities as well as between government and citizens.
In my view, journalistic self-regulation and ethics should set sensible, simple, deliverable standards that can be reasonably required and enforced. Individual editors and publishers are always free to set higher moral standards should they wish. The system should be genuinely self-regulation, in which the independence from the state and from other vested interests is guaranteed.
In developing countries, in particular, the concept of development itself is often the ideology that is used to undermine and attack the concept of the free flow of information. And in that context, governments in particular and other actors, even non-state actors, argue that freedom of information, freedom of the press undermines the capacity for economic growth, i.e. development, and that therefore social responsibility of the media means the right of the state to control the media and restrict the media. In the process of asking for a responsible press, social responsibility on the part of the press, there's also manipulation of that idea to regulate and create an undemocratic environment.
Speaking to Newsfirst a short while ago, MP Sajid Premadasa remarked on his inclusion in the UNP nominations board for the upcoming Western and Southern Provincial Council polls.
I learned from media reports that my name has been included in the National Nomination Board for the upcoming Western Southern Provincial elections. A few days ago, I mentioned to the Honourable Leader of the party, Ranil Wickramasinghe, that I will be unable to attend the National Nomination Board since I am fully engaged in the political and electoral activities in Hambantota district. As such, it is my intention to remain in Hambantota district and give leadership to the United National Party political campaign for the forthcoming provincial elections. Therefore, it is my intention to refrain from attending the National Nomination Board in order to focus fully and totally to make the United National Party electoral campaign a success in Hambantota district.
Speaking at Malay Colony in Ambalantota today, MP Sajid Premadasa responded to a statement made yesterday by Minister of Construction, Engineering Services, Housing and Common Amenities, Vimal Weerawansa, while explaining the program of his ministry.
We can clearly say to the gentlemen who divide the number of houses per divisional secretariat in the area by hours and minutes that this year we as a government have supported the construction of more than 141,000 homes. As a government in 2014, we have to achieve the target of 200,000. This trumpeting minister has no idea that my father not only built homes in millions, but that this endeavour was also recognized internationally and in 1987 was named UN Habitat Day. Who was the housing minister in 1996? It was Maithripala. He submitted the report at the Uninhabited Conference on Housing in Sri Lanka. What was contained in Maithripala's report? Maithripala spoke about 2.6 million homes that has been constructed under the grand concept devised in the time of Premadasa. He does, however, have the talent to challenge the foundation stone of the housing scheme built by my father in Malika Wata after putting some paint on these houses. MP Sajid Premadasa expressed these views at an event held in Malay Colony, Ambalantota yesterday to distribute savings accounts to children in the area.
Now, in your business news this evening, the Central Bank has taken steps to consolidate banks and other financial institutions as per the proposal in the budget. A media release issued by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka notes that the relevant stakeholders will be informed about the plan starting this Friday. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka stated that a plan will be in place to create a stable financial sector to steer Sri Lanka towards its economic goals for 2016. The plan is expected to detail the forthcoming consolidation of several banks and non-banking financial institutions. After the relevant stakeholders are informed, the Central Bank plans to hold discussions with banks and other financial institutions. The Central Bank further states that as a result, they will not resort to corporate downsizing. The media release goes on to note that the bank will closely monitor the capital expenditure as well as the recruitment of employees in order to ensure that the consolidation process will be smooth as possible. And now, we'll move on to a lighter note with the newspaper cartoon of the day.